How is everybody doing? Can you let me know? I'm sorry I'm late. Can you let me know if you guys can hear me and if everything
How
is
is everybody
okay?
doing?
My
Can you
main
let me know?
computer
I'm
decided
sorry I'm
to,
late.
Can you let me know if you guys
go a
can
little
hear
crazy
me
on me.
and if
Couldn't get it
everything
back set up.
is
How is
okay?
everybody
doing?
My
Can you
main
let me know?
computer
I'm sorry
decided
I'm
to-
late. Can you let me know if you guys
Go a
can
little
hear
crazy on
me
me, okay?
and if
Couldn't get it
everything
back set up.
is
How is everybody
doing?
My
Can you
main
let me know?
computer
I'm sorry I'm
decided to-
late. Can you let me know if you guys
Go a
can
little
hear
crazy on
me
me, okay?
and if
Couldn't get
everything
it back set up.
is
How is everybody
doing? Can you let me know? I'm sorry I'm late. Can you let me know if you guys can hear me and if everything
back set up.
How is everybody doing? Can you let me know? I'm sorry I'm late. Can you let me know if you guys can hear? How is that now? Is that any better if I turn it up? Now how about this? Let me know if that's any better now, guys. I think I see what the problem might have been. How about now, guys? I'm so sorry. This is like all last second trying to get this all set up. I know there's a lag in the chat, but is that better? Ah, good. Okay. Awesome. 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 Yeah, I see what happened here in OBS. It was just a couple things got not bad for a 3-minute setup. Okay, cool. So, yeah, the last couple days have been very interesting. You know, I do a lot of work on YouTube, and as a lot of you guys know that watch my channel, let me see if I can get myself centered here. You know, I do a lot of different things. Everything from, you know, demo videos of me just playing songs to Line 6 Helix videos, which are huge, right? Whether they're dialing in. I've done in the past where I've taken user submitted tones and, you know, I have all sorts of series. I have some series where I analyze music. I do guitar solo analysis, guitar lessons, whatnot. So one of the things I always did with the dialing in series and with a lot of the tones I created is I would always do, as most of you know, I would do performance videos along with them. You know, so let's say I was dialing in a sound with a particular amp, I would find an artist who maybe would use that type of amp, and then I would say, okay, let's do a cover song of that. Now, you know, I love Rick Beato's channel. Rick is awesome. And, you know, Rick has talked about this so many times about the whole copyright thing. And, you know, I could show you my Gmail and search for Google or Gmail copyright or YouTube copyright, sorry. And what it'll tell me is I have nothing but massive amount of not copyright strikes, but copyright content claims. So I don't know how many of you know how this works, but YouTube has an automatic system that when you upload something that is not your copyright, they have licensing agreements in place with existing publishers and whatnot who, you know, rightfully own that music. And I am a huge supporter of that, right? You want people, the copyright owners, to get paid for what they do. You know, I write original music as well, and you know, obviously, I would want to be paid all, you know, for my music if it's used, and you know, rightfully the money was coming to me. Okay, my video is frozen. Am I still good, guys? Can you still? It's telling me I have excellent connection, but it is frozen. Are we still good? Somebody maybe let me know. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, I think we're back. Is it good, guys? Man, this is really weird. This is just kind of like really choppy and okay, still good. Awesome. So I'm still frozen here. Oh yeah, there I am. I'm moving now. So anyways, yeah, so when I would do these, I would always, you know, get notified that the rightful owner of the copyright has claimed, you know, the video, and that was always fine. And I was good with that, you know, so any money generated from ads would go to the proper publisher, you know, the artist, the label, whoever was entitled to that money. And I think that's wonderful. I would never want it any other way. Something strange happened yesterday, and it's something, you know, I always wondered about and thought if it would ever happen. And I actually got contacted by YouTube, and I received a copyright strike. Very different than a content ID claim. So how the copyright strike thing works, and I'll tell you, why it happened and who it happened with, and it's not going to be a surprise to anybody who knows about the YouTube thing and the whole music publishing and copyright thing. You get a copyright strike, they warn you and they make you go through copyright school. You got to watch a 4-minute video and answer 4 questions about how copyright works, which is pretty comical. But basically, YouTube always tells you, your content has been claimed by the rightful copyright owner, but don't worry, your account is good, everything's fine. We're going to collect money and give it to the rightful owner. So you go, yeah, awesome, good. What they kind of brush over, although they do say that, well, YouTube can, the content owner can change their mind, though, at any given moment. And you don't really think much of that. So, I had something like 100 and some odd guitar solo cover videos that I love doing, and a lot of people really enjoyed watching them, and I would use them to demonstrate tones I made and whatnot. But here's what the problem is. All of a sudden, a video that I did 3 years ago, which is not going to come to any surprise to anybody, but the Eagles, surprise, surprise, Hotel California, I did a 47-second video of the guitar solos on, I believe it was November something 2017. Yesterday, I got notified that I received a copyright strike against my channel. So it said, you're not allowed to use this. Basically, they've written a legal letter to us, filled in all the proper legal paperwork saying that must be taken down. That's infringing copyright. Here's who you can contact if you disagree, or you can complain to us. If you complain to them, there's potential massive legal ramifications to it. So you don't do that. They fear you into not doing that. So, okay, whatever. But I looked up the name of the gentleman who actually did this manually, and it's a big wig at Universal Music Group who is in charge of their anti-piracy division. So, or one of the people at their anti-piracy division. So, basically, that gave me a really strange feeling, because here's the problem. I now have 1 strike against my YouTube channel. I did the YouTube, copyright school, and what that does is that copyright strike stays active on my account now until July the 15th. Here's the kicker. If I get 2 more before that, they shut my channel down and I can never come back to YouTube. So everything that I worked very hard for goes away. That's a really weird feeling, a very strange feeling. To know that, all of this stuff that I've done is sitting in some bigwig in a New York or California office, and he has the right to just come along and go, boom, 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 you're done, thank you very much. And I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. And I've really been giving this some thought, and it wasn't sitting well with me, because there's too much at stake here for me. I enjoy doing this too much, and I enjoy the friends I've made. I enjoy the people that I've gotten to know. I just, I can't see this going away from me. I like this too much, and you guys are amazing, and I just love everything about it. And I thought, for the sake of, doing cover songs now, here's the thing. Let me say this before I forget. YouTube has agreements in place with a huge number of music publishers, labels, whoever's in charge of that. And they simply have said, what do you want us to do when somebody posts a cover? And some of them say, we want you to just collect the revenue from that and give it to us. Fine, I'm good with that. Fair enough. I agree with that. I would not want to, wrongfully earn a penny that anybody else is entitled to. I never. So I was always under the impression that when YouTube comes along and says, look, we've claimed this for the rightful copyright owner, they're going to get the revenue. I almost just thought, okay, well, good. I'm okay. People can watch it. Win-win situation. People enjoy maybe seeing me play it, or I can demonstrate a tone with it. The rightful artist gets the money, and the world's a happier place for it. Until the rightful copyright owner, who said that was okay, changes their mind and decides to come to my channel and say, nope, we don't want you to have that up here. They don't come and say, hey, by the way, we'd like you to take it down. Sorry, my phone's going off there. I'm gonna just shut that off. There we go. And come to me and say, hey, we want you to take that video down. No problem. Take it down. No worries. I get it. You own that, and I agree. But this idea that now I need to be punished for it is where it kind of, doesn't sit well with me. And not even that it doesn't sit well with me, it kind of forces your hand. And, I realize I could probably have just let this go, made no changes, and everything would have been, perfectly fine, and nobody would have likely, most of the artists, but there are artists out there, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, the Eagles, I believe, are the worst of them. Fleetwood Mac. Just watch Rick Beato talk about it, and he'll tell you that, you don't mess with this. But he always says, they'll block you, and that's fine. When you get blocked, you don't actually get any strike against your channel. They just don't show the video anymore, and I've had that happen, and that's fine. But this was a wake-up call that all of a sudden, you can actually take my channel away from me because I'm just basically doing something that I've kind of been doing for a few years, and you kind of said, oh, don't worry about it. We're giving the money to those people, so you should be fine. Yeah, but the should be is the important part until they decide that they don't like you. And I've even read things in the last couple of days of there being cases of people extorting folks, saying they have the right to report, a copyright strike against somebody, and if you don't pay them X number of dollars, they're going to have your channel taken down. And obviously highly illegal. It's extortion, right? But it just seemed like a really tough decision because I had hundreds of videos up there of performances that I really enjoyed doing, and I got a lot of great comments about it. And yeah, it's like, so the funny thing is I go through and let's take my dialing in series, for example. I have a dialing in video. I make sure, and this is a funny story actually, if you guys don't mind me telling this. One of the early dialing in videos I did was for a John Mayer-ish tone. And I think that video has somewhere around 50,000+ views. It did very well. Here's the mistake I made. It's about a 17, 18 minute long video. I take all through the first 90% of the video is me talking about how I made this tone, my creation. And then I said, let me use this tone to play a little tiny snippet of Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. And I played that, and the little melody in the beginning, and I noodled some soloing over where John would sing. Then I did the conclusion of the video. So I think it was a minute and 40 odd seconds, don't quote me on that, of music. Now, I put that video up on my channel and it got demonetized instantly. John Mayer's publishing company, record label, whoever, made the money from that. Now, is it huge money? No. But that's a decent video for a channel my size. A 50,000 view video is good. I'm thrilled with that. I might have made, I don't know, 150, 200 bucks off that video. Because I had to share the revenue with him, I think I made $8 or $12 off that video. Not that it's about the money, but it's a weird, so what I started doing is saying, okay, what I'm going to do, and actually, just so you know, what I did, one of the things I did today is I went, and YouTube allows you to cut out of videos copywritten moments, and that's what I did today, and I feel bad about it because I like people to hear it. I mean, they still hear the tone throughout the video, but I like them to hear it in the mix. I cut that out today, and I said, you know what, enough of this. I'm gonna make the money off of this, and I'm done with, why should John Mayer get paid for my 30-minute video? Because I used, under what I would consider fair use laws, a little snippet of his song. But it is what it is. That's fine. I was always good with that. I was okay. But now to hear that if they decide at some point that what I did was wrong, I'm going to take you one step closer to having your channel and your part of your livelihood removed. And I just went, you know what? No, this I can't do this. This is brutal. So so what I changed to after, and a lot of people asked me this, why do you now do the performance video separate from the dialing in? And I said, well, because I can do the longer dialing in video, which usually gets monetized better for the length of the video. And then I can do the performance video, and people can listen to it if they want, and they can, come over and listen to the dialing in video. If all they're interested in is the dialing in video, they can listen to that. If they do want to hear it in a mix, they can go over there. And a lot of people, I had a couple bad comments about that. Like, I don't know why you don't just combine this stuff. And I was like, well, there is a reason for it, I'm really glad I did that now, because other than maybe one or two, I think I had a dialing in John Mayerish and dialing in Alex Lifeson's Limelight, which I also edited today, so the actual example is not in the video. But I don't think it takes away from the video. I think it's still going to be okay. You know, I'm glad I did that. So after a lot of thoughts, I really, you know, went over and over this, and I've decided I have to stop using anybody else's music, whether they seem to imply that it's okay or not. It's just not worth it. You know, right now I'm sitting here with, you know, 2 strikes away from losing, you know, 3-4 years of hard work and many hours and many friends and many contacts that I love having around. And the thought of it was just kind of devastating in a way. And I thought, do I just say, oh, well, it's just one, I'll chance it. Well, I could chance it until the second copyright strike, and then what? Then if the third one comes, then what? Well, I'm out of luck, and that's it. I'm never coming back to YouTube again. And I just thought that it wasn't sitting well with me, and I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with it, because I know I've gotten a lot of comments about how much people enjoy watching me do the cover songs, and I love doing them. They're so much fun, and to me it's a way to pay tribute to artists that I respect, and also even potentially earn them a little bit of money. I know it's a pittance in comparison to what a lot of them are making, but I'm thinking, like, if myself and so many other folks are doing it, it adds up to something. Why would you turn your nose up to that? But again, that's a different argument altogether. So as of today, what I've done, if you go look at my YouTube channel, is I've scrubbed everything on there that was a potential copyright violation, and it kills me to say that I did that, and I had to do it, and I was forced into doing it. I know I could have left it, and it probably 98% chance it would have been fine. It would have been okay, and none of, you know, because YouTube does have agreements with a lot of those companies as partners where they just transfer the revenue over, and that's great. But when they don't tell you which ones they have a solid agreement with and which ones are very likely at some point to come along and say, oh, by the way, you can't do that anymore, which I would say, okay, fine, no problem. No, it's not that simple. You're now going to be punished for it. And if you do it one more time, you're gone. I couldn't take the chance anymore, you know. So what I've done is I've removed all of the performance videos. So there's going to be some weird stuff. There's going to be dialing in videos people see now that say at the beginning, as I always do, you know, go check out the performance video for this song, and here's the link in the description below. Well, those aren't going to be up anymore. Those aren't going to be accessible. I'm thinking about a way. I still have the videos, obviously, and I'm thinking about a way that I could get around this to at least allow people to see, or snippets of it. And sorry, I'm ignoring the chat, guys. I am watching it. I apologize. I'm just trying. I'll come back and revisit it in a minute, but I'm thinking of ways that I can get around it that people could at least still see it. For a lot of my marketplace stuff, you know, I'm going to be transitioning those video demos into what I'm probably going to use. And you guys can tell me if you think this is a good idea, but I have 7 solo albums out that I'm very proud of, that I really, really like. And I don't really talk about a lot. I don't always feel like I want to be promoting stuff like that, you know. But I own the rights to all of that. And I could, you know, say for my marketplace presets, you know, I would say maybe I will, you know, do a full recreation of one of my songs. And I have done that on my YouTube channel. To demonstrate that marketplace preset, you know. I was a little concerned at first, thinking that, you know, I think a lot of people do, you know, maybe go to the marketplace presets and like them because they're hearing songs they know and love with it, you know. And then I kind of went, oh, it's a shame that I can't do that, but it's not worth the alternative. It's not worth the risk to me at this point. And maybe I'm being paranoid, and maybe I'm overreacting. But there's just too much at stake. So what do you guys think of me using like original songs now from my albums, and even songs that I have a great ability to make up, you know, quick little demo. They might not be fantastic compositions, but just to show you, hey, look, there's this Marshall tone, you know, and here's how it, you know, it sounds in this little, or a song that sounds like a Led Zeppelin song, you know, kind of write something like Heartbreaker, but not, you know what I mean? Enough to get around the copyright. So that's what I'm thinking I would do. I just see T-Dog Dangrip say, I would prefer your original songs actually. And I really appreciate that comment. But if I can let you guys know something, this is interesting. And this isn't a complaint at all, but I'm a real kind of analytical type of person when it comes to a lot of things. And with YouTube, I always look and I see, you know, for instance, I mentioned that John Mayer Dialing In video, and that's got over 50,000 views. If I put an original song of mine up, you know, if it gets 600-700 views in the first week, I'd be super thrilled. Versus a cover song, you know, which gets 3,000-4,000 views and keeps climbing and climbing, right? So yeah, it's one thing to say, I want to do my own music, but I know it doesn't have the traction, and that's just the reality of it. I don't think that I don't think that's any, you know, slam on my music per se. It's just, it's not what people are interested in, right? Hey, Chad Husky, how's it going, brother? Thank you for stopping by. Chad says, maybe put the performance videos on Vimeo. Don't know what their policy is on copyright. And it's funny you say that, because I just looked up the policy about an hour before I came on the stream. They've got a similar thing, right? So 3 strikes, you're out, you're gone. And, you know, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, because, I mean, here, let me say something else though. I mean, we all are infringing on copyright. There's no two ways about it. I'm not trying to mince words here. We are guilty. I am guilty. Absolutely, 100%. But the way that I understood it is that YouTube is telling me, don't worry about it. We made agreements with these guys. We're going to collect the money. We're going to send it to them. You're good. Carry on. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, 3 years later, I get a copyright strike against my channel for 47 seconds of a guitar solo, which isn't the melody of the song, which isn't the lyrics of the song. You know, and that's another argument legally. You know, as far as I understand the legality of it, the copyright of a song are the lyrics and the melody, and that's it. Nothing else is copyrightable, right? You can't copyright a drum part. You can't copyright a guitar lick. But I'm sure, because it's such an iconic song and they've got high-end lawyers, they can do whatever they want. And who am I going to fight them? You know, I'm going to take my pennies of YouTube earnings and go to court with them. No, I'm not going to, right? But I thought this was important to talk about. I was a little leery to talk about it for a couple reasons, because I know behind the scenes there's a lot of stuff that goes on when you start doing these YouTube things. It's not something I like to talk about, but there's a lot of hatred that goes on. I'll tell you, just to be honest with you and be upfront, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that as soon as you have any sort of success, there's some folks that really start to dislike you. I've been extremely fortunate because I got great supportive people. And I've made some fabulous friends, people I consider great friends, some in the chat. Johnny Lee, hey Johnny, how's it going, brother? And Chad Husky, Jerry Reff is here, Matt Krill, Carlos Garcia. You know, these are all names I know. Some of them have become, you know, like brothers to me. It's been amazing, but there's also a massive amount of jealousy that goes on, which is crazy. I'm not going to get into stories, but I could tell you stories of stuff that I've gone through myself with just ridiculous stuff, and all based around, the only thing I can see is just, you know, some sort of jealousy or something like that, you know. So I don't know. It's a strange thing. I can't remember where I was going with that, but you know, so it's not. There's a lot of stuff that can get a little stressful about doing this, and you just kind of, you know, that's one of those reasons why I finally just did those, you know, response to viewers as a fun way of sort of getting back at the, you know, and the ridiculous comments you get and everything else, you know. But that stuff's nothing. I mean, that's fine. I always laugh because people would say, oh, don't let those people bother you, and I'm like, they don't bother me, but I figured if I have a platform to be able to at least say, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't the best approach to doing this. Maybe I can help somebody realize that, you know, they shouldn't be leaving these troll-like comments, and it's a lot of fun and people seem to enjoy them, you know. But there is a lot more going on behind the scenes with YouTube, you know. But and you know, my close friends, we have these conversations about other YouTubers that are very close. We have these conversations all the time about how, you know, how folks are when they're you know, just trolling and jealous and everything else. But so yeah, you know, I couldn't take the chance anymore. So I think I'm going to be using a lot more original music. As you're going to see, my channel already looks a lot lighter. One positive though, and I've had a couple people say, oh my God, today on Facebook, somebody said, oh, it's so hard to navigate Jason's channel because there's so many videos there. And I try to put things into playlists and whatnot to organize them. But I understand that. There's a lot of videos. I think I was up over 600 videos. And, yeah, so you're looking for something. If you don't know exactly what to search for, it's going to be really tough. So the one good thing about this is going to streamline that process a little bit. I had some videos, great videos, all ready for next week that I just don't think I'm going to be releasing now. But I'll find workarounds for it. I'll figure it out. I probably wasted about 20 hours work this week that's not going to ever be seen. But again, I think you got to look on the bright side and say, okay, let's start over, let's go in a new direction. And I don't want to go to bed at night knowing that I'm going to wake up the next morning and somebody in an office in Los Angeles complained and had my YouTube channel removed. Todd Foote has a good question. What about all those club bands playing top 40 hits? Are they paying the artists every time they play? This is interesting because I was just talking about somebody about this the other day. I'm up in Canada, so our performance rights organization up here is SOCAN. From what I understand, in the US, it's BMI ASCAP, right? So these are performance rights organizations, and from how I understand it, any club that has top 40 bands or any bands playing pay a fee into the performance rights organization, and they are supposed to take an audit of the songs that the band are playing and submit those so that the artist can get their royalties for performance. So I don't think it's happening all the time. I don't think that's happening all the time, but that's a great question. And correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. That is how I understand that that works. And, does that, are there policemen going around checking that? You played Shook Me All Night Long. I hope, because I said Shook Me All Night Long, this doesn't get demonetized. Do they own that title too? Is there somebody going in and say, oh, you play Shook Me All Night Long, you owe AC/DC a quarter of a cent? I don't know. It's almost like these laws have outlived their useful life. And like I said, again, I am not ever thinking that I am entitled to money from somebody else's copyrighted work. I don't want it. If I did wrongfully earn it, I would be happy to send that to the rightful owner. I don't want it. That's just who I am, and I would want that person also do the same for me if the shoe was on the other foot, But I don't know. It's crazy and it's sad because there's, look at a Canadian band up here, Walk Off the Earth. They got started by doing a cover of the Gaudier tune. Somebody that I used to know, the five people on a guitar, five guys on a guitar, or whatever it is. They had their career exploded from that. That wasn't a legal video. The way it works too, in my research, is when you do a cover song, you have the full right to do a cover song. If you sell that cover song, everyone that sells, you apparently owe the copyright owner 9 cents. That's from my understanding of it. The problem with the YouTube thing is you need a separate license for syncing it to a film or to images. And that's where the problem lies with YouTube. So even if you put a still image up on YouTube and played the song, they still consider that a video. So, that when I do these, yeah, I'm performing my own cover of it, but there's no sync fee. But that's what the YouTube licensing thing was supposed to start, but cover, but that's been, that's not a certain thing. And they don't tell you which ones are certain. They don't tell you which ones aren't. You have to guess. Is guessing about it worth losing your channel? Well, not for me, And I mean, a lot of what I do anyways is more about the tones and more about education and more about music theory and as much as I enjoyed the other, now it'll actually maybe free me up some more time to be able to do other things, James Coleman says, do your own music and link a Spotify version, get paid twice. And you know what, James, that's likely what's going to happen now. And I also look at it from the positive side too. Any, example videos that I do, maybe I do kind of a sound alike video, get around the copyright because it is my music, but it sounds like a Zeppelin song or sounds like a Pink Floyd song. I'll get to monetize that now. And it's not a lot of money, but I'll tell you, when you get up to 500, 600, 700 videos on a channel, the little bit of money does start to add up, and it's not substantial, but it's better than nothing, and it's nice to get something. So that'll actually likely be a positive out of this. My concern was that I know a lot of folks do like to see me do the cover songs, and I enjoy it so much too, but we'll see what happens, you know, but I just wanted to know, for anybody who does follow my channel, if you go look, you're going to see that all of that stuff has been already taken down. I wanted to make sure it was scrubbed before I did anything like this so that nobody, you know, could go after it some more. And again, maybe I'm being paranoid, but, you know, it is what it is. So let me just go back to the chat here, because there's a whole bunch of comments here I missed. Nick Hill says, I never have thought of this and have quite a few sound like Helix tones. Yeah, you know what, Nick? Honestly, I never thought of it either, really, with any sense of worry. I always knew they were there. You know, I think I heard Rick Beato say one time that the thing is, if you get a copyright claim where they're taking the revenue and you dispute it, that's where they'll give you a strike. Apparently not anymore, or not what the truth is. So yeah, you've got to, you know, really watch yourself. So Cymbeline says, I put a 30-second video of me playing the spoons to Hotel California on Facebook, got taken. Yeah, I mean, apparently Hotel California is the one. It just, and I should have been smart enough to go take it down before this happened, but this is 3 years ago. It was like out of sight, out of mind. I wasn't even thinking of it. It's a 47-second video, you know, like, again, ask me to take it down. I'll be more than happy. You know, Justin Ayers says, how can they do that if you followed the rules? Well, there are no rules. That's the point. They tell you, and they sort of allude to the fact that, look, it's okay. These guys own it, but we're collecting money. We're going to give it to them. Everything's fine in your channel. You know, fine print. But they could change their mind anytime. And the other thing to it, not that this would likely happen, but there are serious legal ramifications to this. If the Eagles wanted to come and sue poor little me for having that up there, they can, and they're going to win. You know, so again, you go, you know, is that going to happen? I highly, highly doubt it. They would be suing many, many people, and what would they get out of it? But, you know, again, there is a legal side to it. Carlos Stanton says, completely ass backward thinking. YouTube guys are keeping rocking music alive and promoting these artists and music, keeping it alive. Absolutely, Carlo. Thanks for coming by, buddy. What else do I have here? Hey, Rick and Fran. I don't know if it's Rick or Fran. These are great, great friends of mine, Rick and Fran. They own an amazing brewery here in my hometown. Well, we haven't been there in a while, but I can't wait to get back there. It's my favorite place to hang out, and they are the best people. He's a sexy bald man who plays the guitar. Is there another bald man in this room? So, didn't know. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I thought this was going to turn into a beard channel. No, well, good, I guess. But Nick says, yeah, this is tough to navigate. Yeah, it is. But you know what? I had to put my own mind at ease and figure something out. I hope things keep growing the same way they have been. I appreciate everybody's support so much. It's a tough drag. It's a tough grind doing this. And, you know, it's like every time you get, 2 steps forward, somebody's there to kind of try to push you back 1 step, you know, with a lot of this. And T-Dog says, I agree 100%. You need to protect your work. Yeah, you know, and that's exactly it. Matt Krill says, honestly, the performance video song is less important. I'm more interested in how to dial it and get the tone of the helix. That's a great point, Matt, because I've even noticed, again, in the numbers, if you analyze it, you know, if I get X number of views on a dialing in video, the performance video is usually half to a third, maybe a third to a half of the number of views. So, you know, yeah, that's why I thought probably not a big thing to let go. I just want people to understand why and not just think like, I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I'd love to keep doing it, but I can't. Chris Clement, hey Chris, how's it going? Says, do whatever you to do, cover your assets. We get it, we'll still be here. Your content's great and have helped many of us get better tones. Thank you so much. Matt says he understands. Thank you. Carlos Santon, you don't have a choice. We can't enjoy artists' music on YouTube. And even the worst thing about that, Carlo, is if it was truly piracy, then I would say I get it, but they're getting paid. It might not be a lot, but it's the same revenue stream as they would get anywhere else, maybe more, you know. So Nick says probably the best approach. And he says I'll probably run into this at some point too. Yeah, and you know, Nick, honestly, like I would hate to see anything like this happen to you or anybody else. I would feel just as sick to my stomach if it happened to you as if it happened to me or anybody. I don't think it's fair, you know. We're all putting a lot of work into things, and then, you know, so yeah. So anyways, I hope maybe I opened your eyes to that a bit, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this, is so that others can sort of see too, hey, wait, maybe I better be a little more careful. I don't know, like, but I can't, you know, I don't know what to say. I don't know whether, you know, it's just being paranoid or not, but anyways. Carlos Garcia says, okay, screw them. You have enough talent that you don't need their music. Just do your channel and use your songs. Thank you for the kind words. And yeah, I'm going to have to do that. Justin, have you thought about doing a Patreon? I do have a Patreon account open. It's there if anybody wants to go. I got to be honest, I don't do a lot of real great perks. I just kind of go up. If anybody wants to sort of pitch in to help me out with what I do it. But, you know, I think I have the perks as if you sign up, I give you an album or two, a download of mine or something like that. I can't remember. I got to maybe update it. But yeah, Patreon is cool. I resent doing this. We completely respect and support your decision, Jason. I appreciate that. Jerry says, puzzles me the number of song covers with instruction there on YouTube. Are they Nazi policing all of them? Well, that's the thing. There's nothing consistent about any of it, you know. On one hand, somebody has up, you know, the same Hotel California version for 10 years and nothing happens to it. And it's got 2.5 million views, you know. Mine that had 4,000 views, was the one that got taken down. Is it just a matter of time for the other ones? I don't know. I really don't know. And that's why with the uncertainty, I just didn't want to take the chances, you know. Doug Storm says, time for a YouTube competitor to come out. Yeah, tell me about it. But then, you know, again, right, all the work that any of us YouTubers have put into this platform, you start over from scratch, right? And that's the thing. Like, I look at it and I go, YouTube's my biggest platform to, you know, do all my work, sell my presets, move my own music. And, you know, I never want to be that guy that sounds like I'm only in this because I'm trying to make a buck. I started off with this making nothing. And I was doing it because I really enjoyed it. Have there been a few revenue streams open up since there? Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's a job to me now, right? And it's how I feed my family. It's how I, you know, pay for wine, which I'll take a sip of. You know, so if all the revenue dried up from this, as much as I'd want to keep going, I probably couldn't because I would have to figure out different ways to do it, you know? So there's Patreon, there's the marketplace presets, there's the YouTube revenue, there's super chats, there's you know, and I've been so fortunate. There's been people who've just donated money on PayPal to me because they love the video, and it's so nice, and it's such a nice feeling. And you know, not even just about getting the money, but just that there's people who show their appreciation. There's some really decent, amazing people out there, and that far outnumbers, you know, the trolls and the people who want to see you get hurt and damaged. You know, and that's the great news, is that you know, thankfully they far outweigh those ones, right? Nick Hill says, I would say it's safe to say that this is almost always a publisher or label as opposed to the artist due to the industry being in the state as it's in. That's a good question, or a good statement. And Rick Beato brought this up too in one of his live streams. Is the problem is, you know, Universal Music Group is a massive, massive company. Their catalog is ridiculous. So the Eagles are under that. So while you can use some Universal Music Group music, and it's no problem, they just share the revenue, the Eagles, no. Led Zeppelin, no. You know, Fleetwood Mac, no. I'm not sure if those ones are Universal Music Group, but very likely. So it's not even the label, it's the label in conjunction with the artist. And as Rick Beato brought up, a lot of times it's these old classic rockers, some of the biggest selling classic rockers out there, you know? So anyways, yeah, crazy. T-Dog says it's copyright laws are the problem. Yeah, you know, and Jerry says it's fine, enjoying your venting comments. I didn't really want, I mean, I'm venting, and sorry if it's coming across as that, but it, you know, at the same time, I just wanted to let everybody know why when you go to my channel, there's going to be a lot less stuff as far as just copyrightable material. All the other stuff that I think people are really after on my channel is all still there, and there's no problem with anything like that out there. Nick Hill says, nope, not an overreaction. All thanks, Nick. Appreciate the comment. T-Dog says, I prefer original songs. Yeah. Matt says, do what you need to do. Jay Bassman. Oh, Jason Henry. Jason's another great friend of mine. Jason played bass on my last album, Brief Eclipse, and he's one of the most mind-blowing bass players out there. And check out his website. Maybe type it in the chat if you're still here, Jay. Yeah, he's amazing bass player. And so yeah, so Jay says, create a link on YouTube to a secondary site where the videos can be housed. Yeah, that's the problem though, is where to house them, because and here's the other thing, I could house them on my website. Now, if by some chance the Eagles come along there, or their company comes along there, now they can threaten a lawsuit against my website. So really it's because they're not getting paid anything. So there really isn't an easy out. The bottom line is they own that music. they're telling you can't use it. You can't use it without paying them a license, right? So the only way around that is stuff I write or my own original music, and that seems to be it. Jerry says, go for it. Your tones are amazing. Your chops are staggering. Thanks so much, Jerry. Appreciate it. Jerry's always one of the most supportive, wonderful people. I really appreciate you, Jerry. That's awesome. Justin says, I'd love it if you approach it from this classic amp is known for this. I guess I kind of maybe have done that at times. Yeah, it's tough sometimes to, yeah, so that's a good idea. Could you do like a here's an 80s hairband-esque preset? Well, you know what? There's no problem with me saying, for instance, I did one for the Scorpions, let's say, thinking hairband. I did dialing in a Scorpions-ish, rock you like a hurricane-esque tone. That's not a problem. I can do that as long as I don't play the song in the video. That video is fine. Nobody comes after that. At least not yet, I hope. Are we not allowed to say names? Are we not, it's ridiculous, but it's the performance video that becomes the problem, right? Hey, Led Zeppelin changed just enough to avoid copyright cases, Justin Black says. Yeah, and that's the idea, right? So maybe I'll do more of that. Jerry says I'll get a view from me. Thank you, Jerry. Paul Chipjish, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Paul. Maybe you can do an MP3 of them and we could get them through emails. You see, again, the problem there is that's all fine and dandy until somebody reports that you're now pirating music. So again, there's always risk. Low risk, yeah, but not really something I'd want to take, I think. Christopher Wentz says Vimeo Wistia. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look into it a little more. David Whittick says original music is fine with me. It's disappointing because it's easy to relate to the original artist tone, but it's better than fading away. Well, that is it. And I think a lot of people really did relate to the tone, hearing it in something they were so used to hearing, But anyways, yeah, it is what it is. Rick and Fran say, I can't wait to see how they are going to police musicians playing covers in a live setting. Very petty of these artists and legal departments. Yeah, but like I had explained before, they do have a way. I don't know how much it's policed, but it is there. Johnny Lee says, that sucks me. Yeah, man, it does, but what are you going to do? Nick Hill says, your approach to building tones is what people come for. Yeah, I know that is a big part of it, or the major part of it. So I'm obviously not going to give that up. That's would be ridiculous, but your instruction with your music will be good. Oh, thank you, Carlos. Let's see here. Simon Baxter says, YouTube is killing loads of creators, not just music, but other videos that reference others in their discussions. YouTube are slowly killing off their platform. How sad, right? I mean, it's just, what a sad state that, I can understand if there's personal attacks and stuff like that, but, it's like our ability to talk about anything seems to get less and less on a daily basis. But more of your own, Simon Baxter says, more of your own slave. What I'd like to see, you have loads to offer, share it with us, please. I will do that, and thank you for that. T-Dog says, a wake-up call for anyone who streams. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely it is. Jerry Ruff says, it's the copyright lawyers at the publishing companies and NBA folks with big guns. Absolutely. Carlos Garcia says, if anything, you're promoting them, they should be happy and stop being greedy. Yes, and I think everybody feels that way, but who are you going to tell about that? How are you going to get around that? Use YouTube to promote. Antonio says, use YouTube to promote your website. Do all your art there, and you're going to have lots of followers. And I do that too. I will start maybe promoting my own website a little bit more. Meanwhile, I'll tell you about it too. It's just sadites.com, SADITES.com. And I have all my music available there too. And I've been really thinking about just slashing the prices down, or something like pay what you want or whatever. I have 7 albums. I've worked with Tony Levin, Marco Miniman, Kenny Aronoff, Matt and Greg Bisson, a lot of real high world-class musicians. And Jason, who was in the chat. I'm proud of the work. So if anybody does want to go support me by grabbing some music, that's always appreciated. Hopefully you enjoy it. Matt Krill says, Johnny's off doing bikes and Jason can't do cover songs. What a week. Yes, Johnny made his big announcement. Yes, I wasn't copying you, Johnny. Sorry, buddy, for coming on and doing this. But that is very cool. I think that's a great move. That's going to be awesome. John McClary, Lumpy here. Put the performance video on Google Drive and share it out that way. You can directly... I thought about that, but again... that's still copyright infringement. And I just kind of want to steer clear of that, unfortunately, So I think what I'll do is I'll try and do like sounds like type of song, Anyways. Cymbeline says, the only way this tosses is if someone with a high-powered lawyer slaps these music publishing companies down hard, but unfortunately these companies have deeper pockets. Well, they have deeper pockets and the law is on their side, right? They are really only holding up what copyright law says is correct. So... You know, it's awful. But Nick Hill says you have to have fun with the vitriol and negativity. Oh, absolutely. That's my motto now. I just, you know, give it back to them as much as they hand it out. So, Carlos Santos says there's hatred on all social media platforms. You just have to ignore it. Oh yeah, absolutely. And for like the thing is, the couple that I responded to, that's like a drop in the bucket compared to what I get. So every now and then I was just like, let's just do that and let's call them out on it. It's fun. YouTube can wash, Paul Chip says, YouTube can wash their hands of it because they're not responsible for anything. And that's exactly where they want to be. They don't want to be responsible for it. So they just, that is what it is. You're absolutely right on the money there. Mark Luther says, unreal to be expected. Yeah. David Bowen says, haters hate, it's what they do. Ignore them, they're miserable people and try to spread it. Mark Luther says, use your music, further promote your band. And that's ultimately, whether I want to do that or not, that's what it's going to be, right? There's just nothing I can do other than that. So, yeah, David Whittick says, yes, BMI, the club pays a fee to allow bands. Yeah, that's what I figured. Man, I'll try to get to the bottom of the chat here. There are a few, David says there are a few near me. I guess he means clubs that don't pay, so we're not allowed to play covers. It has to be all originals. That's crazy, eh? Wow. Ron Gillespie says, I agree, it's getting ridiculous. Yeah. Alexander Belleville says, enough said, play your music in your own example with types of music and the style of kind of thing. You know, and I appreciate that, Alexander. I'm going to do that. The funny thing is I got to the point where I could do a cover song so quickly, it was ridiculous. Like if I had to cover, I'd learn the solo, learn everything. A lot of it, I'm reading the guitar tabs, which allows me to not to have to sit and commit stuff to memory. And I could put these together so quickly. Believe it or not, it's actually more work for me to go write an example of music, which is crazy. You would think it'd be harder to learn somebody else's, but it wasn't. But anyways, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry about that. That is, is what it is. Play your own originals and throw a riff or two from the cover you wanted to feature. Well, see, that's the other thing, David. That's a good idea, but there's stories out there that some people are playing like 2 seconds of a riff, 2 seconds of a song, and they get hit with this copyright thing. I don't think they would get a copyright strike for that. I think you would be allowed to chop that out first, but again, they'll demonetize the entire, let's say, 20-minute video because you played, 3 seconds of a Led Zeppelin song or whatever, so. Bill Benson says, dropped a little note to someone at YGG. I appreciate your knowledge and passion. Oh, I appreciate that very much, Bill. Thank you so much. Jerry F says, if you create tones that sound like certain songs, it could be a disclaimer. Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways around it, Jason's next dialing in. Matt Girl says, Jason's next dialing in video. Elevator to Purgatory, dialing in Stairway to Heaven. Yeah. Maybe time for product. James Coleman says, maybe time for product reviews with the links to the product online. Use your own music and say if you like the song. Yeah, and I have done some of that. I really have. And yeah, I'll be trying some different things like that for sure. Steve Ellis says, I'd be honored if people were covering my music as long as they're not getting rich off it. Absolutely. And the thing is, nobody's getting rich off it, but they are actually getting the money from it, which is the worst part. Christopher Clement says, Dawn Henley, never heard of her. My buddy Jason says, everyone please play Jason's website and share. More people need to hear his music. Thank you so much, Jay. Appreciate it. Trigi says, can anyone summarize Came in Late? This will be available to watch after up on my YouTube channel once I'm done with it, yeah. And Trigi says, oh yeah, Christopher's filling him in. Ron Gillespie says, stealing is stealing and education and examination are a whole different thing. And you know what? It's like I said earlier in the stream, Ron, I agree. Like, stealing is stealing. We are guilty. Anybody doing this is guilty of copyright infringement. 100%, hands down, bar none. There's no arguing it. But again, my problem is when YouTube literally sends you an email and tells you the music you just uploaded is owned by such and such. We're going to run ads on it. We're going to collect revenue. We're going to pay them. This is the agreement we have with them. This is what they've told us to do, essentially. But they can change their mind at a later date. I'm all good with that. So I go, oh, okay, so I'm not doing anything necessarily wrong. And I'm fine with them even changing their mind and saying, look, we'd like you to take it down. But it's this punishment aspect that goes along with it. You did what we alluded to the fact that you were allowed to do, but now we changed our mind and now we're going to take your channel away. So that's... I don't know. It's that's the part I have. But I don't argue the copyright infringement at all. Of course it is. But YouTube gives the impression that they've worked around that and that you're okay. Well, that's, and if you really read the fine print, they go, oh, but you could be sued. yeah, okay, thanks, you know, but I thought you were collecting money and giving it to them, but you still didn't get a sync license. It's this very strange, non-defined thing that's very bizarre, you know. Trigi says most stuff is self-made tracks, right? Not taken directly from music. Some are the original, some are self-made. Doesn't matter. Just the fact that you're using their music attached to a video is the problem. So Justin Ayers says there's a great fluff video there where he shows his approach starting from an empty patch to getting a tone. I think you've done this, but would love more like this. Oh, I've done many like that. Yeah, that's the vast majority of my channel for sure. Christopher Clement, Led Zeppelin should be the last ones to point fingers. Their track record is not good for original material. Yeah, right. Jerry says, I play worship music in my church, and we are compelled to pay CCLI for playing playing the music. Yeah. I resent doing this. Cape with the guitar playing a completely different key and just sound a bit like, you know, it's all fine to say, I get what you're getting at. It's all fine to say that, but the point is when there's literally somebody manually going around looking for these things, and when they find it, they have it taken down and you suffer for it and you're punished for it. It's just not worth it to even try to find the workarounds, you know? Okay, so, you know, I did Hotel California, but it was capoed at the 5th fret, you know? No. It doesn't, and it's a little faster. No, doesn't matter. You're not gonna, they're gonna still find it. Well, they may never find it. That's the point, right? But anyways, Ron Gillespie says exactly. We should be able to examine great songs without repercussions. And I agree with that too. You know, Mark Luther says won't be long before they go after tone replication. People will try to copyright anything. Yeah, I hope not. And I think, you know, hopefully that's not where this is headed. But anyways, you know. Anyways, guys, I don't want to keep you guys too long. That's wow, we're already at 51 minutes. Crazy. Thank you guys for stopping in. It looked like we had a pretty good turnout. Thanks for the support, guys. I do appreciate it. I just felt the need to kind of let you guys know what was happening and not just go and like change the channel. And then everybody going, I knew I would get questions, right? Like, well, what happened to these videos? Where's the video? You know, this is what happened, and it's not because I wanted to. I feel now with what I've done, my channel is completely compliant and copyright music free. So yeah, it is what it is, you know. So yeah, that's you know, I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on and why the changes came, and I appreciate your support, guys. I know I say that all the time, and I mean it from my heart. I really love the fact that you guys enjoy what I do, and everybody's so great about it. I really appreciate it, and just wanted you guys to know what's going on. This is the last like 45 hours or so has been weird. It's been a real, I had other things planned that really took a backseat to just trying to mentally mull this over and figure it all out, you know, in a way that hopefully can keep things growing and hopefully keep people engaged, and offer what I hope to be great content. You know, I hope I'm doing that, you know, but anyways, and thank you guys all so much for all the great comments and all the great support. And it's just awesome. I really appreciate it. And I'm seeing all the comments come by here, and, you know, just let me get a big bulk thank you out there. So next week, I'm going to have some really cool stuff. I can't say anything about it yet, but I'm going to have some really cool stuff. Some stuff I have to redo, unfortunately, now. But it's gonna come together, so I'm excited about it all. And I've moved from being a little upset about this to kind of being a little bit more excited about it and moving in a different direction. Not really a different direction, just approaching things a little bit different, you know. And Justin Harris says, hey, and nobody gave you grief about putting the compressor at the end of the pre. Exactly. I have enough videos about that. Thankfully, those aren't copyright protected. Anyways, yeah. So actually, I had to take down one of the most recent videos I did where I was showing the sound of the tones out of the mix. It was doing really well. It was, the people were enjoying it. I was getting lots of great comments, but again, it got flagged for the 4 songs I used. I think I used Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith, Rosanna by Toto. Oh, what else did I use in there? Anyways, so yeah, that one's gone. So yeah. So yeah, we'll figure this out, and I'll just keep going. And anybody who does want to support me, I've got my marketplace presets up. I usually link those in all the videos. I got my website, my music's available. I've got Patreon, I've got all that stuff. So, you know, it is what it is. No pressure and no obligation, but, you know, I do appreciate what you guys do. So I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in, and I'll be back really soon with some more content. And yeah, this thing's going to keep going. Just maybe look slightly different. All right. Thanks, guys. Ciao for now.